There's an axiom in design that says form follows function. This is lavishly and abundantly evident at the Palace of Versailles, about 12 miles southwest of Paris. The palace is now a World Heritage Site and one of the most visited places in all of France. It was the home of the Bourbon kings, but it was much more than that. It was the seat of government, an expression of the absolute and divine right of kings, a place where the monarch could hold court, keeping the nobility, if not happy, at least under his control, as they lived with him in the 700 rooms of the palace. Another axiom about power goes, keep your friends close and your enemies even closer. At any given point in time, there were as many as 10,000 people, from the nobility to bureaucrats and servants, sharing this space. Versailles is vast. The estate covers approximately 1,800 square acres. Visitors queue up early. Versailles is open from 9 to 6:30 every day except on Monday. In addition to the palace, there are the gardens, two smaller palaces, the Grand and Petit Trianon, and Marie-Antoinette's hamlet, a Normandy-style village built for her as a place of retreat from the pomp of the palace. Marie-Antoinette was from Austria. She became the wife of 15-year-old Louis XVI when she was just 14 years old. The history of Versailles as a royal residence goes back to King Louis XIII, who built a hunting lodge here in 1624. His successor, Louis XIV, also known as the Sun King, took it to a whole new level, building pretty much what we see today. He had the money and he had the time. His reign lasted 72 years, plenty of time to see his vision come to life. When he died in 1715, his successor was his 5-year-old great-grandson, who became Louis XV. He reigned until 1774, when he was succeeded by his grandson, Louis XVI. It was, as Dickens later wrote in his novel A Tale of Two Cities, the best of times and the worst of times, the French Revolution. Louis XVI was forced to move back to Paris in 1789. He was tried for treason in 1791 and executed in 1793. Later that same year, Marie-Antoinette suffered the same fate. Versailles ceased to be the center of government. It symbolized all that was wrong with France. The revolution was all about liberty, equality, and fraternity. Versailles was all about the haves and the have-nots, and the have-nots were not having it anymore. As a practical matter, what would the new republic do with this symbol of the monarchy? For a time, it served as a military hospital, later a museum, and a palatial government event center. In 1919, Versailles hosted the peace talks that ended the First World War. The treaty was signed in the palace's most famous room, the Hall of Mirrors. Restoration and refurnishing are an ongoing process, so expect to see some of that. Today, visitors come from all over the world, many by tour bus and train from nearby Paris. The wait times can be quite long, so it's best to buy tickets in advance over the internet or stop at the tourist office before you get to the palace. Versailles is especially busy on Sunday and Tuesday when the Paris museums are closed. Most visitors seem to want to start with the palace. If you purchase the passport ticket, you can start with the gardens, then go to the Trianon palaces and Marie-Antoinette's village, which are opened at noon. You can walk, but it's much more convenient to buy a hop-on, hop-off tram ticket. You can also rent bikes or a golf cart for a 1-hour private tour. If you make the palace your last stop of the day, the crowds have usually shortened considerably. It's best to budget a full day to see Versailles, but even at that, you'll probably leave feeling like you've missed something.